Welcome to one and only enjoying online history in English medium class. Today we are going to discuss a very valuable content which is coming for your Olevel examination. We are going to discuss about the economic reforms in Colebrook Commission. Economic reforms in Colebrook Commission. We know Colebrook came to Sri Lanka in 1829. And why Colebrook came to Sri Lanka? Why Colebrook came to Sri Lanka? In 1815, we know the Candian kingdom was captured by the British. Kanda udarat shuddha bhumiya magul maduwata raswela ingirisi khalu ella kuru yata Mage Ratha Yatha Patnuna. In 1815, at the royal court, we have officially granted the ownership of the country Sri Lanka to the British. So why British captured Candian kingdom, or else why they captured Sri Lanka? One and only reason. What's that? It is to get economic profit. They wanted to capture Sri Lanka because purely they wanted to get economic profits. That is why. But there was a problem. After 1815, there was a problem. They thought of getting economic profit, but expenses higher than the income. The expenses are higher than the income of the Sri Lankan government. That became a big problem to British because they have spent a lot of money to capture our country, but yet they can't get economic profit. Why? Our expenditure are higher than the income. Income is lower, expenditure is higher. That became a huge problem to British. So that is why British appointed Colebrook Commission. That is why British appointed Colebrook Commission in 1833 to find reason and suggest recommendations to increase the income, reduce the expenses. As a result of that, Colebrook took some economic reforms. The first economic reform made by Colebrook. Number one, policy of selling land. Policy of selling lands. In other words, we can say Barren Land Act. 1840. Barren Land Act of 1840. What is this? Now, we know in ancient history, we don't have any deeds to prove this land is belong to us. At that time, there are lots of free land. So what people do, they just go to a place and they build a fence, buy woods and make a box about that, and they say that this is my land. This land is belong to me. So they just go to one place and they just build a fence through woods, and they said that this land is belong to me. Make a maginama. This is my land, right? So very simple. No money exchange for that. Therefore, many people used to this method, so they have lots of lands to each and every one. Colebrook said that I'm going to follow the policy of selling land, or else Barren Land Act. According to the Barren Land Act, all the uncultivated lands, which could not be proven continuous 30 years ownership, oh my God, if you can't prove 30-year ownership of your land, those lands would be confiscated. What is known as confiscated? Taken by the government, Rajasantaka Kirimai. Taken by the government. Colebrook first recommendation is known as policy of selling land. According to the policy of selling land, Colebrook said that if you can't prove your ownership for continuous 30 years, wouldn't be confiscated, taken by government, wouldn't be confiscated, taken by government. But at that time, to our Sri Lankans, no any legal methods to prove this is my land. No deeds, no deeds. How to prove that? No. There's no way to prove their ownership. So most of the lands were confiscated, were taken by the Colebrook. And Colebrook said, right, this is a policy of selling land, alright? So if you have money, you can buy now. You can buy now and we will give you deeds. We are giving you a legal document, right? This land belongs to you. So, both local and foreign investors, started buying these Sri Lankan lands and they started doing estate cultivation. What is estate cultivation? In Sri Lanka, it's famous for tea, coconut, rubber. These are cash crops. So Colebrook took a step to increase the income by selling lands and make interesting people to engage in estate cultivation. Now, after the policy of selling land, many of the lands were taken by the foreign investors. But we need labor. We need labor to cultivate in those estates. Therefore, as the second recommendation of Colebrook, Colebrook gave second recommendation on Colebrook abolish compulsory service system. What is known as compulsory service system? According to the compulsory service system, every grown male had to work for the government free of charge certain days per year. Every grown male had to work for the government free of charge certain days, especially like 6 days per year. Colebrook said that no need that. It is unfair to the common people. Colebrook started saying, now you can come to work in our estates and we will give you a salary. We will pay you. This is the first time in Sri Lanka where people started working for a salary. People started working for a wage. So Colebrook recommendations changes economy in the country. First started selling lands and foreign investors came to Sri Lanka and brought those lands, started doing estate cultivation to get the labor. Colebrook abolished compulsory service system and people started working for the salary for the first time. The economy spontaneously made upside down. And not only that, Colebrook made another recommendation is known as allow civil servants to engage in estate cultivation. Who are known as civil servants? At that time, civil servant means the government officers, Rajya Niladharin. So at that time, to get a government post, everyone must need essential education, even today also, right? But at that time, in those days, very lack of people who are going for the education. So those limited people surely get the government civil servant office. So Colebrook thought that now we have lands, we have people to invest for estate cultivation, and we have labor, we can get cheap labor, and as well as to manage these labors and to manage these estate cultivations, we need intelligent people. So Colebrook allows civil servant government officers to engage in estate cultivation. So they were the people who manage the labor. They are managing the estate cultivation well. They are doing import-export process, doing document reworks. So Colebrook is very intelligent man. He step by step made recommendations to increase the income, reduce the expenses. The fourth recommendation made by Colebrook. Colebrook changed the tax collection of the country. Tax collection. Before Colebrook put up, we had direct tax. Direct tax. What is known as direct tax? Now, for example, you are going for fishing and you have 6 fishers. So imagine you have 6 fishers, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. According to the direct tax quota, so you have to give half. You have to give 3 fishers to the government, to the king, and 3 can be taken by yourself. That is known as direct tax. Now, if you are harvesting 10 kilograms of paddy, 5 kilograms you have to give to the government, to the king. 5, it's yours. That is we call direct tax. But Colebrook said, no. We don't want direct tax. We need cash tax. So Colebrook convert direct tax into cash tax. According to the cash tax quota, if you have 6 fishers, you have to go to the market, you have to sell it, you have to earn money. Right, from that money you have to pay tax to the government. So you need to pay tax by cash. Cash rolling with only through cash. So Colebrook changes economy in the country. Now just look here. Colebrook started selling lands. Before that, no, right? No any process of selling lands. And Colebrook started abolition compulsory system and gave the opportunity for people to work for a salary. Colebrook made management through civil servants, and Colebrook he convert direct tax into cash tax. Cash tax. The 5th recommendation, let's take the 5th recommendation. Colebrook started establishing saving banks. So actually this is a good work done by Colebrook. Saving bank. According to the history, we all know the first saving bank is known as Bank of Ceylon, and the purpose of establishing saving bank by Colebrook is to give loans to the entrepreneurs to a reasonable interest. So these are Colebrook reforms, economic reforms in Colebrook Commission. Now you can step by step, you all can understand how these 5 recommendations: policy of selling land, abolishing compulsory service system, allowing civil servants to engage in estate cultivation, imposing cash tax, and establishing saving banks, they have changed the economy in the country. Study this because there is a possibility to come for your examination. Study well. Thank you all.